I think that if you're going into anything, even if it's something you actually want to do, if you're going into it with the purpose or a leading purpose of proving someone wrong, it's either not going to work out or you're going to maybe get some success, but you're not going to feel the way that you thought you were going to. Just stay focused on what you want and don't even let those people into your energy field. This is the Energy Within podcast, all about accessing, nurturing, and building your energy and confidence so that you can design your life the way you want. My name is Carrie Jokala. I am your host. I am a Reiki practitioner, a fitness instructor, a wife, a mom to 2 little boys, and this is a very special solo episode where I ramble a bit while I do a live video in my Facebook group. I stumbled on something the night before I recorded this, a comment that someone had made about being afraid of moving forward with what they wanted to do because they were afraid of certain people making fun of them. And I'm not mentioning who this person is or where this came from, but I just wanted to address that topic because it really kind of sparked something in me. And I also decided, First, I thought I would just do a live video about it. And then I'm like, no, this needs to be a podcast too. So what you're going to hear here is the slightly edited version where I edited out moments where I lost my train of thought. In the live video, you can go watch the whole thing and watch me lose my train of thought at one point, and that's totally fine if you want to do that. But that video does live in the Facebook group. But otherwise, here you're going to get the slightly cleaned up version of it. So I tried to address it still mostly as a podcast, but there's a little bit of evidence that it came from a live video. So I hope you enjoy this one. I hope this one resonates with you and that you find it helpful. If so, please share it. Share a screenshot, do a screen flow, grab some audio, tag me on your social media, and let me know what resonated with you. I would love to hear it. Here we go. Hello. How you doing? So I wanted to record a little live video today on a topic that kind of sparked something in me last night when I saw someone make a certain comment. And I decided I also wanted it to be a podcast. So I've got my earbuds in so that I can be connected well for audio to Facebook right inside my group. And this mic is going into the computer for the podcast. So you're welcome to stay and hang out for the whole thing. This video will live inside the group as well. And then it will also be repurposed in my podcast. And I'm hoping to have it out on Friday or different things along those lines. And I saw someone make a comment the other day that their biggest fear was that the people who knew them were going to make fun of them. And I can relate to being afraid of people making fun of you. I grew up being made fun of, and that was a big reason why I had a struggle with confidence growing up, and that's what led me to a lot of where I am today and why I share the things that I do, how my podcast evolved, how this group evolved. But I think it's an important thing to note that we're sometimes afraid of that. We're not necessarily afraid of the failure or afraid of just putting ourselves out there to other people. It's the people that we're afraid might say things that put us down, or they're going to make fun of us or say, hey, that's so stupid. And the thing that I thought of first was when we say, what would you do if you had no fear? What would your life look like if you had no fear? If you had no fear of anything, what would you go do? I want to add to that. What if the naysayers did not exist in your life? What would you do? What would that feel like if you knew you didn't have to be afraid of what other people were going to say, what they might say about you, to you? You didn't have to live with that fear. You could just focus on the people who are looking for what you have to offer, who you are their person. You are the one who's going to help them through whatever they need, whatever you're good at that you can help them with. They're going to come to you for that. It's going to be amazing. And these other people that you've been worried about, they suddenly just don't exist. Imagine for a minute what that feels like, because I bet there's a weight that comes off of your shoulders when you realize that you don't have to worry about that. Now, there is sometimes that reality. I understand that it's not always an imaginary thing, that maybe you have experienced people actually coming out and saying things to you, actually making fun of you, actually telling you that your idea or that you are stupid for doing what you're doing, or just that there's something wrong with you or your ideas, or it's not going to work, or they're going to spread rumors about you they already have, or they're going to be mad at you. And you know they're going to be mad at you because they've already given you evidence by being mad at you for stepping out and doing what it is that you want to do. So I realize it's hard to pretend that that's not there if it is actually a real thing and not an imagined threat. But I still want you to imagine what it would feel like if that weren't there. And then go a step further and realize this truth, that no matter what, when it gets down to it, at the end of the day, this is your life. So it really doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. And I know that it is hard to push past that fear, to push past that reality when it is a reality, and to continue on as if it doesn't exist. But I'll tell you, for me personally, what's never worked for me, and maybe it works for some people. If it does, great, but I still don't think it's the right way to go about it. I'm not going to tell you you can't. That's not my place. If it works for you, fine. But I've never resonated with people who say that, their haters give them the energy to keep going forward. My haters give me the drive because I'm going to prove you wrong. I think that if you're going into anything, even if it's something you actually want to do, if you're going into it with the purpose or a leading purpose of proving someone wrong, it's either not going to work out, or you're going to maybe get some success, but you're not going to feel the way that you thought you were going to. And as much as a lot of me is driven by logic, I do think that framing things around how you want to feel is the important part, because you can do all the logical things. You can do all the different processes to get where you want to get, to reach the levels that you want to get to. But if you're not focused on how you want to feel when you get there, you might get there and realize you don't feel like you thought you were going to feel, because you didn't acknowledge that in the beginning and you didn't make that a priority. So maybe you built a business and it got structured in a way that doesn't really allow you to live your life the way you thought you might be able to live it by building this business. But if you go into it with the idea of how you want to feel versus just simply what you want it to look like, if you add in how you want to feel, then as you're going along into this new venture, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be a business, whatever it is that you're going forward with, you can then know what you need to say yes or no to, how you need to position or structure things so that you are feeling the way you want to feel as you're building it. You're not waiting to get there. You're already feeling that way. I might be going off on some weird tangents and not making sense, so I hope this is making sense. I'm just kind of letting this flow. But really starting and going back to that idea of feeling like you can't or shouldn't do something because you're afraid of what someone else is going to say. I know that that's hard because I've been there. I still have that thought from time to time, getting worried about what people are thinking of me, what they might say afterwards or, say to other people. But you can't worry about that. And the more practice you have in learning how not to worry about that, the easier it gets. It's very, 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 very hard in the beginning to let these things roll off. But once you can learn to separate yourself from what people are saying about you or what you think they might be thinking, it gets easier to let it roll off. And I want to tell you too, I want to remind you, I've said this before, but I want to remind you that whatever you think someone's thinking about you, they're probably not thinking that. And if they are, you need to politely excuse them and move on. I'm almost going to launch into a bully speech where, they say if you ignore the bully, they're going to go away. But I also know that's not always the case. But you do still have to stay more focused on you and what you want and not let one other person or one other group of people hold you back, because they're probably not who you're doing this for. There are so many other hundreds of thousands of millions of people who you can reach and you can help by being yourself and doing whatever it is that you're feeling called to do. So you block out those people. You don't have to actually block them, but sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. So if that's something you need to do, just do it. They're not going to know. Just stay focused on what you want and don't even let those people into your energy field. They're not worth it. They don't deserve it. Don't give them your energy. Put your energy where it belongs, into you being yourself and into you showing up in your life the way that you want to show up, and into you doing what it is that you want to do with your life. I am not saying that it is easy, that the path is always going to be smooth, that you're not going to ever have worries of what other people are thinking of you. I still do all the time. Rejection is hard. Being made fun of is not fun. And I wish none of that happened. But first of all, we need to remember that rejection is never really a personal thing. It's always to do with the other person, what they're ready for, what their perception is, and it has nothing to do with you. And you just have to stay focused on you. And if people are making fun of you, you need to figure out how to not allow them into your space, how to not give them any of your focus, attention, or energy. If it's someone online, block them. You delete their comments. You don't have to keep anything there on your page that does not belong there. I've done it before and I will do it again. If it's someone in person, I say do everything you need to do to avoid them. If you have to be around them, then you physically, eye contact wise or otherwise, don't give them your attention. Don't feed into whatever they're saying or doing. And hopefully they'll lose interest when they realize that you're not going to play their game. You need to own who you are and be so comfortable with that no one can shake you. Again, easier said than done, I know, but it can be done and it needs to be done. I would like to help you with that. This is not meant to be a sales pitch, but honestly, I would love to help you with that through a Reiki session. And at the moment, there's still virtual mini sessions for only $25. And I'm about to start the master training soon. So the sessions will eventually become full sessions, which means they will also be more expensive. And I'm not trying to talk you into it in that way. They're like, oh, the prices are going to go up. You should no. I just mean that if it's something that you want to try and you would like to get in on it while it's available at a cheaper price, do it now. If you have questions about that, let me know, because the reason I promote it is because that I know from experience how doing energy work can help with you removing those fears, getting centered, getting grounded, reconnecting to yourself and who you really are, shedding those fears and growing that confidence. I have felt it. I have experienced it. I have done sessions for other people where they have felt and experienced it, and I would like that for you too. So if you feel like that is something that would help you, please reach out to me. You can visit my website. Link is in the show notes, and go ahead and schedule a session. And like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. What I want more than anything is for everybody to start living authentically and not being afraid to be themselves and do the things that they want to do because of one other person or one other group of people. Are you really going to let your life be dictated by one other person or one other group of people? I sincerely hope the answer is no. There's no reason for that. This is your life. You have a purpose and you are meant to live it out. So don't let anyone else who is afraid of stepping into their own purpose stop you from living yours. Best case scenario, they're eventually going to see what your life looks like because you are living your authentic life, living out your purpose, and they're going to follow in your footsteps. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please let me know. Please share this episode. Take a screenshot, do a screen flow, share it to your social media. Leave me a comment on the Facebook Live video that accompanied this particular podcast. So if you're not already in the group, it is also called The Energy Within. Please hop in, come on, do a Reiki session with me, and also jump in and try out my virtual fitness studio. Lots of fun classes going on in there. A new format change on Wednesday nights. And I'd just love to see you in there. There's so many different options and ways that you can participate. You can always try it out for free by starting off with the free trial of the membership options. Or you can drop in for $6. Or you can do a recording for $6. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I love you. And I will see you next time.